Darcy Carter with the Small Business Administration, and we're here celebrating National Small Business Week. And we have winners in various categories who've been nominated and have competed for the awards that we're presenting today. And I'm very excited the governor is going to come, and Lieutenant Governor is here already. And Pete Johnson from Craftsbury, Vermont is the Small Business Person of the Year. Very excited that a local organic community-supported agriculture business is the winner this year. The importance basically of this week is to recognize the importance of small business to our economy, because 2 out of every 3 jobs is actually created by a small business each year. So this is the time to celebrate their contribution to the American dream.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Small Business Person of the Year Awards. My name is John Booten. I'm the publisher of Vermont Business Magazine, your host for this evening's event. At this time, I would like to welcome the Cider House Blues Boys. I don't know if any of you heard them outside, but they were fantastic. So the Cider House Blues Boys with Brett Hughes will sing our national anthem. Please rise. Very nice. Thank you very much. Vermont Business Magazine is very proud to be part of this celebration and to host this event down at the Coach Barn on Shelburne Farms. We'd like to recognize the achievements of these outstanding individuals we are honoring tonight. Vermont is lucky to have their vision, their energy, and their commitment to a healthy environment, vibrant Vermont. And we thank you for being here to help celebrate their achievements with us. At this time, I'd like to recognize some special guests that are in the audience. SBA Vermont District Director Darcy Carter, co-presenter of the award. Vermont Lieutenant Governor Phil Scott. Representatives from our congressional delegation, Ted Brady from Senator Leahy's office. Jenny Nelson from Senator Sanders' office. And Patricia Coates from Congressman Welch's office. Diane Bothfeld, Deputy Secretary of the Vermont Department of Agriculture. I guess you could not join us tonight. And joining us a little later will be Governor Shumlin. I would like to... I would also like to recognize some past winners who are with us tonight, two of which are national winners. Rick Cochran from Mobile Medical International. And Karen Cross from Fresh Tracks. And also Sharon Goodwin from Rehab Gym. And now I would like to thank the Small Business Administration and its Vermont office for their dedication to Vermont's small business community. The SBA is critical to the success of small businesses. Without their dedication, many Vermont businesses would falter. I would also like to thank my staff at Vermont Business Magazine who make this event such a great success. Give them a hand. And we could not put this event on without the great support that we get from our sponsors. VITA, the Vermont Economic Development Authority, Chroma Technology, all the way from Bellows Falls, People's United Bank, the Rehab Gym, Sound Vision, Third Generation Design, and Sugar Snaps Catering, who had a great selection of food for us. Give them a hand. And now let's get this show on the road. Darcy, would you please come up?
Thank you, John. Gotta put my ugly glasses on, sorry. Good evening and welcome to friends, family, and colleagues of our award recipients and our many partners in the business community here tonight. And a special thanks to John Booten and the team at Vermont Business Magazine for being our co-hosts. This year actually marks the 50th anniversary of National Small Business Week. And tried to go back that far to see who won in Vermont, but it was like, we didn't do it for the first 3 years, so. And it was a company no one's heard of, so it wasn't significant until we hit Ben & Jerry's, a national winner, and I think that was like early 70s or something, so that was pretty cool. Anyway, this is a week where we recognize the critical contributions of America's entrepreneurs. More than half of Americans either own a business or work for a small business, and it's critical to our economy because they create 2 out of every 3 jobs each year, so it's very important. This is a day when we take the opportunity to highlight the impact of outstanding entrepreneurs who are working to grow small businesses, create 21st century jobs, drive innovation, and increase America's global competitiveness. Quoting our President Obama, "For centuries, America's progress has been driven by pioneers who think big, take risks, and work hard. Where their ideas take root, we find inventions that change our lives. And when their businesses take off, they fuel an engine of economic growth and job creation that moves America forward. During National Small Business Week, we celebrate generations of entrepreneurs who have given their all to realize their dream." End quote. Although each year is unique, this year is particularly special. All of our winners truly embody Vermont's spirit and culture. Tonight, we celebrate the impressive accomplishments and ingenuity of 3 young entrepreneurs, a woman-owned business, an exporter of the year, a micro-enterprise, I can put my glasses on, a lifetime achiever, and of course, our small business and family-owned business, and our small business person of the year, Pete Johnson. We celebrate Pete particularly excited that he's an agriculture-based business, first time that we've actually had a business of this kind as a small business person of the year, and particularly excited that this is so important to our economy and to the Vermont brand. And now Pete's face is everywhere, so Pete, you're the Vermont brand, whether you want to be or not. We had very competitive field of nominees this year, but each winner stood out among the peers, and no one deserves these awards more than you, so I congratulate you. I would now like to invite Lieutenant Governor to come to the stage, and we'll begin the awards program. And when I announce each winner, please come on stage when your name is called. Thank you. And our first award is Small Business Exporter of the Year, Douglas Klein, East Wind Diamond Abrasives, Windsor. Eastwind Diamond Abrasives has business ties that reach far beyond its town borders. The company uses a patented formula to make discs, hand pads, belts, and flex wheels that it ships to 6 continents. Its international sales are so successful that they exceed their domestic sales. For these exporting efforts, SBA recognizes Eastwind Diamond Abrasives as the 2013 Vermont Exporter of the Year Award. Congratulations. Our next award is Family Owned Business of the Year, Bob Nelson, Nelson Ace Hardware, Barry. In 1983, Carol and Sarah Nelson, along with their son Bob, opened Nelson's Hardware on Main Street in Barrie. Today, Bob and his wife Linda run that same store, employing many local people, including high school and college students. Bob is deeply rooted in his community. His devotion to Barrie goes beyond owning a hardware store. He is also the president of the Barrie Partnership, which is committed to improving the economy and quality of life in downtown Barrie. After serving Central Vermont for 30 years, the SBA is proud to recognize Nelson's Ace Hardware as the 2013 Vermont Family-Owned Business of the Year. Congratulations. And our next award is Micro Enterprise of the Year, Michael Patch, Patch's Green Clean Services, LLC, St. George. Each year, Vermont is often recognized as the most eco-friendly state in the country. One man decided to capitalize on Vermont's green initiative and start Patch's Green Clean Services, LLC, an environmentally friendly residential and commercial cleaning business. Just a few years ago, its owner, Michael Patch, never conceived of owning his own business. He got it off the ground in 2009, and since then he has tripled his sales and his customer base has grown consistently. SBA is proud to announce that Patch's Green Clean Services, LLC has been selected as the 2013 Vermont Micro Enterprise of the Year. And our next award, Women-Owned Business of the Year, Mary Griswold, Shelburne Shipyard, Shelburne. Tonight, we recognize Vermont's oldest marina. Right down the road on the shore of Lake Champlain is Shelburne Shipyard. I don't know if you've been there, but it's absolutely beautiful. It has been in continuous service since 1826 and was purchased by the Griswold family in 1971. Today, Mary Griswold, the owner and president since 2003, and her staff of 20 year-round employees have made her marina the most complete full-service shipyard between New York and Montreal. In fact, I just learned 60% of their business comes from Canada. That's very interesting. Shelburne Shipyard is also a firm believer in instituting environmentally friendly practices, so much so that the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation named Shelburne Shipyard the first clean marina in Vermont in 2010. Mary, it is our privilege to award you and Shelburne Shipyard the 2013 Vermont Woman-Owned Business of the Year. Congratulations. And our next award, Young Entrepreneur of the Year, Ben Werlin, Jeff Santoro, and Brandon Werlin, Music Store Live, South Burlington. Our Young Entrepreneurs of the Year said their mission was to reinvent the way people buy musical instruments. In 2010, brothers Ben and Brandon Werlin and Jeff Santoro started Music Store Live, a website to sell new, used, and vintage guitars, and some of them are in the tens of thousands of dollars. You should check it out. Their vision was to highlight guitars online through high-resolution photos and videos. A little more than 2 years ago, when Music Store Live first started, they were working out of a house, which is pretty typical for a small business in Vermont. And today, they have grown so much, they're in a warehouse in South Burlington. They have more than a dozen employees, and their robust and visually stunning website has made them one of the largest vendor guitar retailers in the Northeast. Gentlemen, for your innovation, it is my honor to announce the owners of Music Store Live as the 2013 Vermont Young Entrepreneurs of the Year. Congratulations. And now we have an award for a very special member of the SBA family, Lene Quillenblum, State Director of the Vermont Small Business Development Center. Lene will be retiring at the end of June. And Lene, where are you? Come on up here, girl. You know how some people make business, they just take care of everything, make it look so easy, all with a smile on their face. And you just want to say, well, they can't be that perfect, right? There's got to be something wrong with them. The exception that proves that rule is Lene, who after 18 years of service with the Vermont Small Business Development Center has demonstrated that it is humanly possible to get it right over and over. And I'm not talking about simple things like brain surgery. I'm talking about complying with an SBA grant for 18 years. I never heard her complain. She probably broke a few light bulbs at home each night, but she's... And even when you had to ask for permission to travel to New Hampshire from SBA, which is about half a mile from your home, I think. We're a lot of fun to work with. But in all sincerity, Lene, I feel like I need to talk to you like this. We at SBA and the entire business community in Vermont have been so very privileged to work with such an outstanding professional as you. Someone whose wisdom we rely on, someone who knows how to put a fierce team of advisors together who are here today, to serve every type of business, someone we can always trust, and someone who gets right down to business at hand with a laser focus and a nimble strategy. She is very much a strategic planner, so I hope in retirement you've got some good projects. During your time at SBDC, you and your team have served over 15,000 clients with over 150,000 hours of counseling and provided training to over 20,000 people. Under your leadership, the SBDC has won national recognition for the best SBDC in the country, best practices, numerous competitive grants, and has achieved 3 national accreditations without conditions. The Vermont SBDC is clearly the standard of all other SBDCs. that they all hope to meet. That's what I was trying to say. Even in tough budget times, you found ways to collaborate with partners to deliver impressive programming on technology, business development, e-commerce, agricultural economy, export assistance, business incubation, Vermont Downtown Program, hospitality business development, veteran business assistance, and helping businesses prepare for and recover from disaster. You've been an incredible advocate and partner for small business in Vermont, and we are indebted to you for all your contributions. When you decided to retire, you even coached us all on how to get along without you and provided a flawless transition to our new SBDC State Director, Linda Rossi. For your dedication and amazing career with Vermont SBDC, it is my honor to award you, Lene, I'm going to get choked up, this Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, and you may now travel to Virginia.
Keep clapping. Thank you, Darcy. Lieutenant Governor. Now I'd like the congressional delegation to come up to the stage and say a few words. Ted Brady, representing to Senator Leahy, Jenny Nelson, representing Senator Sanders, and Patricia, representing Congressman Welch.
Thank you very much, John. First, on behalf of Senator Leahy, I want to apologize that he couldn't be with us today. He is down in D.C. Managing the immigration bill, and which is really at the heart of economic growth. Secretary Lawrence Miller often says, I've seen him on the road say it before, that Vermont will die if we don't embrace diversity, and that means diversity of economies, diversity of people, and everything, and that's what the immigration bill is all about. Not to mention a few gifts in there like extending the EB-5 program and other things that are really important to Vermont. So, I did talk to the senator before making it here, and the senator, I asked him if there was anything that he wanted me to bring on his behalf, and he said specifically to make sure I really stress the point that what these awards are about, what the SBA awards, the Vermont Small Business Awards are about, is showing how proud Vermont is of the pillars of Vermont's economy. And every one of the awardees tonight is really a pillar of our economy. They employ people. They are the backbone of Vermont's employment system. They, in addition to that, are literally at the heart of every community, whether it be on select boards, whether it be at Rotaries. The reason you were picked isn't just because you know how to make a balance sheet black. It's because you are a whole person, and you are an entire. You are the reason that Vermont is such a special place. So, with that, moving on from the senator's formal message. Before I get to Pete, I think it's great that they've honored Lene tonight, because the Vermont Small Business Development Center is an incredibly successful business counseling mechanism. I mean, it's one of the best in the country. I'm not just saying that, they've gotten the awards to prove it. And Lene has been at the heart of that. I also should point out, the Vermont Small Business Development Center and her people continuously have been the ones that have sent people to this awards ceremony. They've nominated people. They've made sure the right people get the right recognition, and it's great that after 18 years with the Small Business Development Center, Lene is finally getting some recognition. So congratulations, Lene. That said, I think it was about a year into her directorship at the SBDC, she literally burned the place down. for those of you that don't know this, literally the SBDC headquarters burned down. And it coincided with when she showed up as the director. How long was it, Lene? 2 years after or a year after? In her defense, she rebuilt it. And the senator also did mention, as Darcy said, it's very unique that the Small Business Administration gives recognition to farmers. And it's because there's a crazy bureaucratic definition of farm and small business, despite the fact that we know, as Vermonters, every farm is a small business. However, it's incredible that the SBA has given Pete Screens this great honor and recognized it for what all Vermonters know it is, which is, and Pete especially, is a huge piece of our social and economic fabric, but a job creator and an innovator, and no different than a really successful software developer company when it comes to the business angle. So the senator has sent a flag for Pete that was flown over the Capitol, and please indulge me while I just simply read the inscription. It was flown over the United States Capitol building at the request of the senator, and it says, "This flag was presented to the 2013 Small Business Person of the Year, Pete Johnson, on June 13, 2013, in recognition of his hard work and success in growing Pete's Greens into one of the pillars of Vermont's agricultural economy. So congratulations, Pete. I will refrain from making the same reference to a fire that I made with Lene. That scenario just shows what your business really is all about. It's not just about being in the black, which amazingly you are, but it's also about the community and employing people and really contributing. So congratulations to all the winners tonight.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Bernie, Senator Sanders, I'm here to give congratulations to the awardees today and to tell you that he wishes he could be here, but he has sent letters to all of you, so you should receive those. Mr. Nelson is not a cousin of mine, but I have loved hearing his ads on WDEV. And it really is something, you know, you folks who have won these awards, really, I think back to the flood and the fire and who knows what all that people have to go through to keep their business going from one year to the next. And it's a lot of support from others as well as just the stamina and the determination of yourselves. And I congratulate you for that. Pete in particular, I have to say, I am so proud as Agriculture Policy Advisor to Senator Sanders to see someone with an agricultural business win this award this year. It's really, really tremendous, and it's well-deserved and far beyond the time when agriculture should have seen an award like this. And Pete, I think back to the first time I went to Pete's Greens. First of all, I didn't know your last name was Johnson at the time. But I remember the produce growing off the roof of the farm stand and thinking that was a little bit different. And then I went in to be waited on in the farm stand, and there was a guy with a PhD who had been a cardiac surgeon who decided it was time to go back and learn how to grow good, healthy food if he was going to keep people from having to be operated on. I couldn't believe it, but he went to the best to learn. I would just like to end by saying that for each of you, thank you so much for the good work that you do. You know, they talk about the pillars of the of the Vermont economy being agriculture and tourism and manufacturing, but we've got folks here that represent even a wider range of real good, strong local businesses that are represented. And in the export department, Senator Sanders even has a fellow now working on export workshops to try to help folks who do produce enough to want to send it abroad. So we're working on that as a special project this year, and we're looking forward to working with you. So take care and congratulations.
I'm Tricia Coates. I work with Congressman Welch here in Vermont, and I'm standing between you and your governor, so I'll be very brief. Congressman Welch is not a businessman, but every trip home to Vermont, he makes a point of visiting a local business. And since taking office, he's visited over 100 local Vermont businesses. And speaking with people like you, he has been left with some very lasting impressions. Vermont businesses thrive because of hard work. They thrive because of the devotion of the owners to the people who work for them. They thrive because they're connected to their communities, and they thrive because they're committed to the Vermont brand. Tonight's awardees represent an excellent sampling of these values. The job of the Vermont congressman is to help Vermont businesses succeed. You all make that very easy. So many thanks to the SBA and the sponsors of this event for giving us the opportunity to recognize Doug Klein, who is exporting the high-quality Vermont brand abroad, Bob Nelson, a real believer in his community, go Barry, and a talented businessman. Michael Patch for his entrepreneurial success and environmental commitment. Mary Griswold, who is, as a successful businesswoman, is a role model for many young women who aspire to succeed. Brendan and Ben Werlin and Jeff Santero for being young, taking a risk, and making it work. Lene Quillen-Bloom, you've provided so many years of meaningful and effective service to so many Vermonters. And Pete, Congressman Welch, Peter Welch, was so proud to attend the grand opening of your new barn, and I believe with this other Peter. He is just so proud of the hard work that got you to that place, and we're very proud to have the ag sector represented here tonight. On behalf of Congressman Welch, congratulations. And thank you all for all you do for our state.
Thank you, Tricia, Jenny, and Ted, and thank God we didn't have to sit through any of Ted's fishing stories. Now I'd like to introduce Andrew Meyer from Vermont Natural Coatings, who will say a few words about this year's Small Business Person of the Year, Pete Johnson.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to everyone who's received an award tonight. It's really energizing to be able to be in a room with so many interesting and creative people. Pete Johnson, it's an honor to be able to stand up here and help introduce Pete Johnson for this award. Pete's here with his family, Danica, Anners, Andrew, and his father, Richard. And he's also here with his great team from Pete's Greens. And I have to mention that because that's really what makes Pete. The team behind him. He might have the leadership and the dedication, but it's an incredible team that works with him. Also here to honor Pete, Linda Ramsdale from Claire's Restaurant, Tom Stearns from High Mowing Seeds, two of many of the businesses that work closely with Pete on a daily, weekly effort to really engage in an economy here that can be driven by local foods and whatnot. Pete started gardening when he was 3, and now he has 500 CSA membership. He farms 200 acres. He grows hundreds of vegetables. He feeds thousands of Vermonters. He's an important employer and community member up in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. But, we talk about what contributions business people make. Obviously, there's a lot that he does for Business Network, but I think one of the most important factors that Pete has is he raises or grows inspiration. And he shows his inspiration through his innovation, his dedication, his contagious engagement on collaboration. And that's a key piece of not only what makes Pete Johnson's Pete's Greens such an incredible piece of what it means to Vermont, but what it means to Vermont to have that kind of network and to have that kind of support, to have that kind of relationship with that as a model. So Pete has done amazing things in the community, too numerous to mention. And you know, I don't know if I can get used to this. I thought Vermont Life, I thought all the magazines, I thought the radio, I thought the book they wrote about him, I thought all the other places you see Pete's face popping up was it. But I think Pete is the Vermont brand, you know, might have some sway here. So what I'd like to do is see more pictures of Pete. So Katie's going to run a short video that really has demonstrated a little trip to Pete's Greens in Craftsbury, Vermont.
I grew up in a family where there was a lot of gardening and various stuff going on all the time, and I always really into it. I remember getting a little push seeder when I was about 12. It wasn't just for me, it was like the family bought it for the garden, and to me that was like the best, better than Christmas 3 times over, you know, just going out and playing around with this thing and figuring it out. And it wasn't particularly normal. Like my 12-year-old buddies had no interest in the push seeder at all. So Pete's Greens employs 14 folks year-round, and we peak at about 23, 24 in the growing season. These range from full-time, long-term managerial types to every year we usually have 2 or 3 interns or sort of summer-type college folks coming through. We have a 5-member team that comes up from Mexico in the summer and helps us, a couple families we've been working with a long time from down there. Everybody who works here really has a key role and a key niche that they fill. It's a demanding place to work, and we all expect a lot from each other. This year we're cropping about 85 acres in vegetables and another 85 to 100 acres in cover crop and land that we're preparing for future production. We sell at the Montpelier Farmers Market. We have a CSA that goes all over north central Vermont. We sell to stores and restaurants. A big part of our business is storage crops. We grow carrots, potatoes, beets, cabbage, all those crops that we can store. We have a large storage facility here, so we're washing and packing them all winter long. We have about 3 acres in greenhouse production that we use to extend the season every way possible. You can see cucumbers and basil and tomatoes behind me here. We raise pigs, meat chickens, you know, have lots of going on, lots of moving parts, and a lot of diversity that makes it a really interesting place to be. Oftentimes there's this perception that Pete does a lot of this, or Pete does, you know, it's Pete's place or whatever. It's so far beyond that at this point. The ideas, the motivation, the keeping us on track come from so many different angles, and sometimes I feel like I'm a bystander who's just sort of like trying to keep track of what's going on a given day. It's exciting to be part of such a powerful team.
It's great working here. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I feel like I love having a job that's really physically active and also kind of mentally challenging. It's really fun. So throughout the spring and summer and early fall, I'm running the harvest. So I walk through twice a week and get an inventory of everything that's ready in the field, and then run the crew that's picking that. And then I'm kind of running the crew in the wash house all winter with our storage festivals. I'm Annie Myers. I'm the harvest and wash house manager here, and I've been working at Pete's for about 3 years.
It's great. I love the job, being outside, being physical constantly. Getting, right from when you get to work to the end of work, you're constantly moving. And there's high stress, high demands here. So it's a good team atmosphere. You get to really know your coworkers very well. It's a small crew, and you just work to get the job done no matter what comes your way. My name's Todd Renner. I'm a general farmhand, and I've been working here for a little over a year.
I've always liked working outdoors, And so I saw an ad, and I came here to work in the field, and that's where I started, was in the field. I harvested, and then I became a wash house manager, and then I helped in the kitchen off and on, and then we needed someone for the kitchen. So then I said I'd like to give that job a try. I didn't know if I could do it or not. And it's my home here. I want people to have stuff from here. Years and years ago, that we had our own creameries, we had our own canneries, we had all of that here. And then, I don't know, I guess in the 50s when I don't know what happened, but I guess we gave it up. But now it's back again. And there's no reason that we can't do everything we need right here. I mean, we can grow anything we want. All of our neighbors grow, it supports us, supports our community. You know, everybody gets to stay and live here happy. My name is Deborah Rosewolf, and I've been working here since 2007 at Pete's Greens, and I am the kitchen manager.
It's been really fun to be part of this resurgent ag scene that is really now providing a lot of jobs and is building a new culture in this area of a lot of young folks who are really excited about the work they're doing. A lot of people are moving here to be part of these companies that are you know, doing ag-related things. And then more and more we see that the really accomplished kids who grew up around here in the past would have typically moved away. Might go away for college, but then they're coming back, and oftentimes they're getting involved in ag-related stuff. And that's really exciting for me I mean, it seems to me a measure of a place is whether the people who grew up there want to live there when they're growing up. So, and I think it was just getting started now. You know, we have a few businesses that are at some scale, and we have a bunch of small ones that are growing, and we have a bunch of new ideas. And I'm really looking forward to the time when there's more and more businesses all over the hills around here doing cool things, and all the feedback and cooperation between all of them, and it's really exciting.
More pictures of Pete. All right. One last thing, I think it's notable how significant it is that Pete can receive this award here at Shelburne Farms. Shelburne Farms and Pete are right about the same age, about 40 years old, and have been contributing so much over the years to really committing their organization and personal and business life to revitalizing agriculture in Vermont. So it's pretty significant, and it's an honor to have him here today. The other thing is, you know, I encourage everybody here to get to know Pete, get to know him, visit him when you can find him on a tractor or in the weeds somewhere. But that's, you know, you're going to be inspired and you're going to be encouraged about the future of agriculture in Vermont. So congratulations, Pete.
Thank you, Andrew. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to the Deputy Secretary of the Vermont Department of Agriculture, Diane Bothfeld.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here with everyone else in the room who has taken home some awards tonight, but also to be here on behalf of Pete. But Secretary Chuck Ross wishes he could be here tonight. He's trying to get back from the Chicago area, and it's kind of slow going. So he's not here tonight, but he does send his congratulations as well to Pete and his team for his being such an innovator in production, marketing, and community engagement. And he's really looking forward to see what's next from Pete. But Pete, as mentioned on the video, is a part of the resurgence in agriculture in Vermont. He's really tapped into the consumer desire to buy local and to know where their food is coming from. His business is deserving of this award, but Pete is also deserving of our respect and applause for many other reasons. The fire that was mentioned before destroyed that critical infrastructure on the farm almost 3 years ago, and the community really stepped up to assist Pete in that rebuilding. Creative financing, contributions, got that infrastructure rebuilt, and probably better than it was before. But Pete really didn't stop here. When his fellow farmers were adversely affected by Tropical Storm Irene, Pete stepped up as well to help his fellow farmers through revolving loans and grants, getting those farmers back on their feet as other people had supported Pete when he had adversity on his farm. So Pete, you are truly a class act. I am very proud to work in this state where agricultural development is regarded as economic development. Agriculture plays a critical role in Vermont's economy, and the Sustainable Ag Council has estimated the total value of Vermont's ag sector at over $2.5 billion per year. And when other sectors are losing jobs, agriculture and food processing are gaining jobs in Vermont. Governor Peter Shumlin has been a huge supporter of agriculture's role in economic development. He included early on in his tenure $500,000 in ag programs in the jobs bill, and we have the Working Lands Enterprise program, which has been funded through Governor Shumlin's leadership last year and this year through the legislative process, totaling over $2 million to support farm and forest businesses. So there's strong support there. Under Governor Shumlin's leadership, the Agency of Agriculture and the Agency of Commerce and Community Development have enhanced our working relationship, building the partnership and working on that Vermont brand, but now we have an easy photo to put up for the Vermont brand. We got photos of Pete, and working hard to attract more tourism dollars to Vermont, which now they can all just go to go see Pete. And getting those businesses to start up, expand, opening new markets, and increasing exports. Governor Shumlin understands the value of the working landscape and supporting small businesses of all kinds to reach their goals. It is my pleasure to introduce Governor Peter Shumlin.
Thank you so much, Diane. Thanks for the extraordinary job that you're doing babysitting Chuck and getting things done. And thanks to Ted and to Jenny and to Tricia, the best congressional delegation in America. I enjoyed your comments. Thanks for joining us. Let's give them a hand. To John Booten and the Vermont Business Magazine team, to Darcy Carter and the SBA team, thanks you mostly to all of you. To those that have been nominated, to those who are winning tonight, and to those that are just helping us to make progress, create jobs. I think Andrew said it all about Pete. I'll talk about him in a minute, what Andrew didn't say. But I just want to say to all of the awardees tonight, you know, you are the reason, and the hardworking employees in this Shelby Farms and those who aren't here. You're the reason that we're doing so well. And I know we've been through the toughest recession in American history. We're coming out of it. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was with a lot of governors yesterday at the National Governors Association meeting in Chicago, and you know, they come up to me and say, "How y'all doing it in Vermont? You know, what are you doing up there? 4% unemployment rate, third lowest unemployment rate in the country, and the other two that are beating you, oil and gas, and a few other things to drill for that we don't have. If we had that stuff, you know, we'd be number one. You know, how are you producing? You got more green, clean, high-tech jobs per capita than any state in the country. You were the only state to see income growth in 2011. The only state. It was only 4%, but guess what? That's 4% better than the rest of America. You know, how you doing it? And the answer is in the extraordinary small businesses that the SBA honors today and that we honor, and those that aren't being honored but should be. And the fact of the matter is, this is a tribute to every single business person and every hardworking employee in Vermont. I know that Trish did a great job of thanking Nelson's Ace Hardware, the team here, part of the Renaissance in Barrie that's going on, Shelburne Shipyard, Woman Owned Awardee of the Year, the Music Store Live, Young Entrepreneur of the Year, Patches Green Clean Services, the Micro Enterprise Business of the Year, and East Wind Diamond Races, the Export of the Year. Let's give all of them a hand. I also just want to say a word about Pete, and I'm not going to repeat what was said because Diane and Andrew and others gave all my talking points away, so I'm going to freelance it, which always makes my staff a little nervous. But the fact of the matter is, I've never seen Pete so cleaned up, dressed up, hair cutted up, shaved up. And I've just got one request before you make another one of those videos. For God's sakes, get a Hillstead Farm or some kind of beer t-shirt and get that Sam Adams off, because that is not local. I'm going to donate the shirt. So I got to tell you this story about Pete. First of all, you know, in Vermont, we know each other because we know people that know people that know people, and then we know them. And one of the guys that used to babysit me when I was a kid and teach me how to ski and sugar and do all the things that we do in Vermont was a guy named Bobby Gray. And Bobby Gray and his wife Kim, way back when I was a kid, just a little kid, they got this idea that they were going to start growing vegetables in Vermont. We used to call them truck farmers. I don't know why, but we call them truck farmers. And you know, that was a wacky idea when I was a kid growing up in Vermont. Like, no one made a living growing vegetables in Vermont. I mean, this is a new evolution that's going on here. And you know, you went to the A&P or you went to Grand Union, you got your vegetables. Putney was a little different where I grew up because they had the first ever co-op. But it was still the same stuff that came off the truck. It was not local food. So anyway, I remember asking Bob and Kim when I was visiting their farm down in Bradford, Newberry. If any of you haven't been there, Four Corners Farm, it's an extraordinary operation. And they've been making a success of growing veggies. And they were sort of, I would argue, wouldn't you, Pete, sort of the pioneers in this model. And so I brought up Pete one time and just to sort of check. And Bobby said, they don't come any better. That guy's kicking our butt. He's doing things that Kim and I dreamed of doing. And next time I went down, I was having a beer with Bobby around a table, and I go in, catch up with Bobby, and there he is talking to Pete on the phone. And I think you guys talk, what, just about every day? Or that's what Bobby claims, anyway. Anyway, when the fire hit, I immediately, as soon as, you know, Pete could get to doing unimportant things like talking to governors, I called him up, and I said, you know, this is a tragedy. And I want you to know that we're behind you all the way. And we're going to make sure that we do our part in ensuring that you do what we did with Irene, that you take this extraordinary tragedy and turn it into an opportunity. And he was planning to do that anyway. But anyway, in the process, we said, what's the biggest problem? And you know what it is in those situations. It's loot, it's money, particularly for a farmer. So I said, we're going to help. We want to do everything that we can to help. And a whole bunch of people came together in the community of Vermont. You know, neighbors take care of neighbors when they're in trouble, and everybody came together. So, and I just think this is endemic of kind of Pete's spirit and what Pete and his team, because he hates attention. You know, he's not enjoying this right now. But it's all the people that work for him. It's true. This is an example of what's happening. So one of the things we did, a bunch of folks got together, said, let's get some music, let's get people in a room, let's raise some money to rebuild the farm. So we all went up to higher ground, is that what it's called? Higher ground. We went up to higher ground. And so I got to introduce, say something goofy like governors do. So I go up and I do my little thing, and they had a bunch of no-name, you know, musicians there, Vermonters, but you know, a couple of guys from Fish, and I don't know, it was a whole team of talented folk. So it was a great music. So I do my goofy thing, and Pete's wandering around, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, I don't know, it was late. I mean, people do music late, right? And so I said, well, you know, to my security guys, this is going to be good. Like, you're not hauling me out of here. I'm going down on that floor, and I'm going to drink beer and enjoy this music. So I go down, and I mean, they take great care of me, but they weren't very happy about that decision, I got to be honest. And, you know, the more beer, it was packed. It was packed with, you know, people under, I don't know, younger than I am. So we're all having a good time, and the music gets better and better, and the more people drank, the more they wanted to talk to me. And so the extraordinary thing about that night was that I would say in the course of an hour and a half, I must have had 30 or 40 people under the age of 30 come up to me and say, you know, Gov, I'm really inspired by what Pete and Pete's Greens are doing. And I'm growing, you know, I'm making caramel out of goat's milk, or I'm growing swine, or I'm growing vegetables, or I'm making jam, or I'm growing God knows what. And you know what? We're making money. Yeah. We're making money. We're making money growing things in Vermont. And that's what this is all about, right, Pete? It's about all the people who are working in the fields, who are working the soil, who had a vision. This is a whole new industry of jobs and economic opportunities, but more importantly, when I do go around the country, people say to me, and even up in Quebec, the Premier said this the other day, what are you doing? What's this farm to plate, farm to fork, CSA, locally produced, value added? What are you doing down there with food? It's pretty remarkable. So I just want to say how proud I am of the SBA for choosing Pete as a symbol of the renaissance that's going on in Vermont. It's starting right here. Jobs, prosperity, good food, healthy living, a renaissance in ag, where Diane and others will tell you, because of Pete's Grains, and because of the hundreds and hundreds of other young people who are emulating that success, our best ag days are ahead of us, not behind us. And if I told you that 15 years ago, you thought that I was smoking something. That's what's so exciting about this transformation. So a huge congratulations from me, not just to Pete, but to every single young person in this state that's trying to do things just like Pete's Grains. We're proud of you, and we're going to stand behind you every single step of the way.
Oh man, I thought I would never stop. Sorry to afflict everybody with all these photos. I argued against the laying down one for 5 minutes. I couldn't get out of it. But you're all being good sports. Appreciate it. Now I get to embarrass my folks. Everybody from Pete's Greens, please stand up. And stay standing up. I'm gonna go through. When I say your name, you got to put your hand up in the air so people know who you are, and we're gonna talk about you each a little bit. As it's been clearly stated here several times tonight, these guys are who make Pete's Greens happen. It's incredible, and this is about a third of our team. The rest of them are home right now working because this is a big day for us. And you saw a few of them in the video. But anyway, Isaac on the end here. Isaac Jacobs, he built our barn when it burned. He rebuilt our barn. He's the handiest guy on earth, and he's a farmer, and he just deals with all kinds of infrastructure issues that we have. His wife is next to him, Melissa. Raise your hand. They are the parents of that beautiful baby Iris, who was watering in the video so well. Melissa runs our farm stand. She orders all of our seeds, does all of our starts, planting, deals with a huge amount of other details and issues and annoying things. Next to her is Tim Fishburne. Tim does all of our selling to stores and restaurants, is in charge of our packing and shipping, deals with an incredible amount of different sized boxes and details and trucks and all this kind of stuff, and pulls it all off. And his job is basically a mystery to the rest of us. We don't actually know what he does, but somehow it all works out. Amy Skelton. Amy, I like to call the only actual adult who works at Pete's Greens. She keeps us from going broke. She minds the books. She has been running our CSA for a number of years. She's passing that on a little bit to Sarah, who we'll get to. And she takes care of all kinds of special projects, research projects. She's just incredible at figuring out how to do things and how to move forward. My sister Anners, who I'm sure is glad to be, she actually has her own business, but she works with us and she brings us cookies all the time. And she's an awesome support and a really nice sister to have. My brother Andrew, who does all of our weed control, he's on a tractor cultivating and keeping the fields all nice and neat and clean. He's only been doing this is only his second year. He's picked it up. It's really good at it, and he's also the new ski coach at Middlebury College. I'm excited to have him doing that. Back here, Sarah. Sarah is fairly new to us. She's running our CSA now and doing great things there, writing the newsletter, which is a huge job. It's recipes and all kinds of details, and then we take all this stuff up and drop it off all over northern Vermont, and there's all kinds of issues with the drop-off, and she has to take care of all that, and it's a complicated job, and she's doing great. Annie Myers. Annie is a real smarty pants. She's been with us now. She calls it almost 3 years, but it's only about 2.5 years. Kind of a city girl from Brooklyn. And somehow now is running all of our harvesting and our wash house, and also anytime I have a project that's too complicated for me, I give it to her and she figures it out and deals with it. Todd, you hiding back there? Todd Renner, you saw him in the video a little bit. Todd is new to us about a year ago. He's our first military college grad who we've had at Pete's Greens, and we actually have really enjoyed that. Apparently he was the hippie at Norwich, but we can't tell. But he's becoming a really, really handy all-around farm guy, great energy. You can often see Todd walking across the field carrying piles of crates way bigger than he is. He's a strong guy, and it's great having him. Anybody else? That's it, right? The group. My dad and other sister are also here. They're hiding back there. They do things occasionally at the farm, and but I guess they don't really want to stand up, so that's okay. There he is. And I just want to mention, my mom isn't here. She passed away 12 years ago, but she's really a lot of the inspiration for me for what I do. She got me into gardening, and she was a pretty amazing mom. She always wanted her kids to excel at something. She didn't care what it was. She didn't give you direction there. You were very independent, but she encouraged going for it and doing your best. And we all feel her spirit inside us all the time. And she definitely has inspired what I've done in my life. There's all kinds of folks in this room who have been huge supporters of us, and I really appreciate it that state government has been huge for us and the whole ag renaissance. This is the first time we've had a governor who really gets what we're trying to do, and it's powerful, and it makes a big difference. And we had this fire, and the support that we received after this fire from organizations and individuals throughout Vermont was just mind-blowing. We could never have gotten back to where we are without that. We will feel forever indebted. We had no idea how far and wide our work touched people, and it was really a powerful experience to go through that, and extremely humbling. I mean, it was still to this day, it's really hard for me to comprehend. But we've gotten here with this crew and with a whole bunch of other folks who have helped us along the way. My Hardwick buddies have been mentioned a little bit. Andrew, thanks for the introduction. Linda's here, Tom's here. I got to tell you, I just feel like I happened to end up doing this in a place, in a time that couldn't be better, between what's happened in Vermont with Vermont consumers wanting local food, and the support we've had there, and this whole Hardwick thing, which has just been so fun to be part of. The collaboration, the friendships, the support, it's just this group of folks who are all been in business about the same amount of time, or going through similar things, and it's really been a powerful experience. Sometimes I think about moving away from the Northeast Kingdom for climate reasons. It's actually a pretty bad place to grow vegetables. But what's happened in the last 5 years in Hardwick, you could never leave that and find something as interesting or exciting to be part of. And so we're not leaving, we're staying there. But I just want to, give a real thanks to these guys who are so selfless with their time and energy and thoughts, and it's just been a really gratifying thing to be part of. Thanks to the SBA. I mean, this, to me, it's been mentioned a few times, but I was really surprised and struck that they gave this award to a farm. And I think it's really evidence that this whole new wave of agriculture is really growing up in Vermont. And that's something a lot of us have been going for a while, but we're trying to create better jobs, trying to pay better, trying to have benefits, trying to have good places to work. And it's nice that people outside of our field are starting to see that that's happening. And there's a great trickle-down effect, Everybody who does better leads to somebody else doing better, and it sort of lifts the whole tide. And it's really exciting that an organization like this is starting to see that is happening, and I think we're going to see a lot more ag business award winners in the future. Thanks for having us here, and appreciate you all coming, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Pete. I want to congratulate all of tonight's SBA winners, the champions, and the Small Business Person of the Year. Congratulations. Now, as I was standing up here through this whole ceremony, they've been setting up dessert that you guys haven't been able to see, because I think if you had, you'd be going out right now. And you will go. What I would ask is that all of tonight's winners meet in the courtyard right away. We want to take pictures with Governor Shumlin and Lieutenant Governor Scott out in the courtyard. So if you go out there, we've also left copies of the June issue with write-ups of all the winners on your seats. Please take those with you. There's great stories in there of all of them, and great stories in the rest of the magazine. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and please have dessert. Wait, one more other thing I forgot. Pete has graciously asked that as you leave also to go to their farmer's market stand and take one of the produce with you home. So have a good evening. Thank you very much.
And a woman's life, make her life like mine. Other day